This is a touching story of a tiny baby no one wanted. Meet baby Michael. He was born at just 24 weeks, weighed less than a bag of sugar, and every doctor said he would never survive. His teenage mom signed the papers and disappeared the same day. But one nurse refused to give up on him. She did something no one expected. And 7 years later, that decision changed 3 lives forever. Let me take you back to a cold winter night many years ago, in a small hospital in Ohio. A 16-year-old girl named Ella came through the doors all alone. No parents, no friends, nobody holding her hand. She was crying because the pain was big and she was so scared. That night, after many long hours, she gave birth to the tiniest baby the nurses had ever seen. Baby Michael weighed only 1 pound and 9 ounces. You could slide a wedding ring all the way up his arm like a bracelet. His little heart beat so fast, and his skin was almost see-through. His eyes were still closed because he came 3 whole months too early. The doctors gathered around and spoke in sad voices. They told Ella, "This baby has bleeding in his brain. He will probably stay blind. His lungs are too small. He may never walk, never talk, never even know you are here." Ella was only a child herself. She had no home, no money, and no one to help her. The next morning, before the birds even started singing, she signed the papers that said, "I give my baby away forever." Big tears fell on the paper as she wrote her name. Then she put on her coat, walked out the hospital doors, and disappeared into the snowy morning. For the next 103 days, Michael lived inside a plastic box called an incubator. Bright lights shone on him all day and all night. Machines breathed for him with a soft, whoosh-whoosh sound. Tiny tubes went into his nose and his belly to give him milk, 1 tiny drop at a time. His heart stopped 3 scary times, but the nurses pressed on his chest and brought him back. Many nurses finished their work and went home to their own families. But one nurse, Sarah, could not leave him. Sarah was 34 years old. She had been married to a kind man named Joshua for 10 years, but they could not have babies. It made Sarah's heart hurt every day. From the first moment she saw Michael, something inside her changed. Every break, every free minute, Sarah came back to his box. She sang him the softest lullabies. She read him little board books about bunnies and stars. She slipped her finger through the hole so his tiny hand could wrap around it. She whispered over and over, "You are my brave little boy. Keep fighting. I am right here." Day after day, week after week, Sarah fell deeper in love. Then came the worst night of all. The head doctor called Sarah into a small, quiet room. He closed the door and said, "No family will ever adopt a baby this sick. We have to stop the machine soon and let him go." Sarah felt like the world had stopped turning. She drove home that night, crying so hard she could barely see the road. She walked into the house, fell into Joshua's arms, and said between big sobs, "I can't let him die alone. I love him, Joshua. I love him like he is already ours." Joshua held her tight, kissed her forehead, and said, "Then we will bring our son home." Their friends and family tried to stop them. "You don't know what you are doing," they said. "That baby will only bring pain." But Sarah and Joshua did not listen. They filled out hundreds of papers, took classes, and turned their guest room into a little hospital room. Finally, after 103 long days, the doctors said, "You can take him home." The day Michael came home was full of happy and scary feelings. He had an oxygen tank that made a soft humming sound. He had a feeding tube in his tummy. He had wires stuck to his chest that beeped if his heart went too slow. Sarah quit her job at the hospital so she could care for him every minute. Their house was full of machines and medicine bottles. Every 2 hours, day and night, alarms rang. Sarah woke up, gave medicines, cleaned tubes, and did special chest exercises so his tiny lungs could grow stronger. Many nights she rocked him in the dark, singing through her tears because she was so tired. Doctors kept giving sad news. "He will stay blind forever. His brain has too much damage. He will never walk or talk. But Sarah only heard the love in her heart. She kissed his tiny toes one by one. She clapped his little hands together. She played soft music and danced with him in her arms. She told him every single day, "You are my sunshine. You can do anything." Months turned into a whole year. Then one beautiful spring morning, when Michael was 1.5 years old, Sarah was changing his diaper. Michael looked straight into her eyes and gave the biggest, brightest smile anyone had ever seen. Sarah dropped the diaper and fell to her knees. She cried the happiest tears that soaked the whole floor. 3 months later, he looked at her again and said the most beautiful word in the world, "Mama." Sarah laughed and cried and called Joshua at work, screaming, "He said Mama. Our baby said Mama." From that day, miracles kept coming, one after another. Michael learned to roll over. Then to sit up all by himself. Then he got tiny blue braces for his legs. One sunny afternoon, he pulled himself up on the couch, took one wobbly step, then another, then ran straight into Sarah's open arms. Sarah and Joshua jumped and shouted, and danced around the living room holding their little boy. When Michael was 4, he spoke in long, funny sentences. When he was 5, he ran across the park laughing. When he was 6, he started normal kindergarten with a big dinosaur backpack and a giant smile. The oxygen tank was put away forever. The feeding tube came out and never came back. Michael loved chicken nuggets with ketchup, the color green, building tall block towers, and swinging higher than the birds. Sarah made a private Facebook page just for family. Every holiday, every birthday, she posted new pictures, Michael with cake all over his face, Michael riding his first bike with training wheels, Michael dressed as a superhero for Halloween, Michael hugging Sarah tight. Everyone who saw the pictures said, "What a lucky, happy little boy, and what an amazing mom." 7 quiet, beautiful years went by like this. Then one ordinary Tuesday morning in 2023, Sarah was making toast and jelly when her phone made a little ping sound. A message from someone she did not know. She opened it, and her heart almost stopped. The message said, "Hi, my name is Ella. I think the little boy in the green dinosaur shirt is my son. I gave birth to a baby named Michael 7 years ago. Is that my baby?" Sarah's hands shook so hard she had to sit down. Ella was 23 years old now. She worked at a grocery store. She had her own small apartment. For 7 long years, she had carried heavy guilt in her heart. She cried almost every night thinking about the tiny baby she had left. One day an old friend sent her a picture from Sarah's page, and Ella knew right away, that smile, those eyes, that was her little boy. Sarah and Ella started writing messages. Then they talked on the phone for hours and hours. They cried together over the phone. They were both scared, but they both only wanted what was best for Michael. After many long talks, they decided to meet at the big park with the red slide on Saturday morning. Saturday came. The sun was warm and bright. Michael ran straight to the swings, shouting, "Mommy, push me to the sky." Sarah pushed him and laughed, but inside her tummy felt full of butterflies. Then Ella walked slowly across the grass carrying a little teddy bear. When she saw Michael swinging and laughing, she stopped walking. Tears started pouring down her cheeks like rain. She put her hand over her mouth so she would not make a loud sound. Michael saw the tears and jumped off the swing. He ran to Sarah and asked in his sweet voice, "Mama, why is that lady crying so much?" Sarah took his hand gently and said, "That lady is someone very, very special. Let's go say hello together, okay?" They walked over slowly. Ella got down on her knees in the soft green grass. Her voice was shaky like a leaf in the wind. She looked at Michael and said, "Hello, sweet boy. My name is Ella. A long time ago, I gave birth to a tiny baby boy, and I was only 16 and so scared. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I am so sorry. I never, ever stopped loving you." Michael looked at her for a long, quiet moment. Then he did the most beautiful thing in the whole world. He reached out his little hand and gently wiped a tear from Ella's cheek. He gave her his biggest smile and asked, "Do you want to push me on the swing?" Ella laughed and cried at the same time. She stood up, took the swing, and pushed him higher and higher while Sarah stood watching with happy tears rolling down her face. That day in the park, 3 hearts that were far apart came together and started healing. They took everything very slowly and gently, like planting a tiny seed and waiting for it to grow. Ella visited every Saturday and Sunday. She brought cookies she baked herself. She learned that Michael loves dinosaurs, hates carrots. She read him stories about dragons and knights. Michael started calling her Mommy Ella. When Michael fell asleep, Sarah and Ella sat at the kitchen table drinking warm tea and talking about everything: the scary days in the hospital, the sad days, and all the happy days. 1 year later, Ella moved to the same little town. She found a pretty house only 10 minutes away. Now Michael has 2 bedrooms filled with toys, 2 backyards to play in, and 2 birthday cakes every single year. On his 8th birthday, the dining table was covered with 2 giant chocolate cakes, each with 8 bright candles. Michael stood on a chair, closed his eyes tight, made the biggest wish, and blew out every candle with one big breath. Then he opened his eyes, looked at both of his moms, and shouted so everyone could hear, "I have the best moms in the whole wide world." Sarah and Ella looked at each other, hugged tight, and cried the happiest tears you can imagine. Sarah whispered, "We were both missing a piece of our hearts, and Michael gave it back to us." Sometimes the greatest love stories are not about who carried the baby in her womb. They are about who carried the baby in their arms when he was tiny, who stayed up all night when he was sick, who clapped the loudest for every first step, and who opened the door with a smile when someone from the past came knocking. Baby Michael, the tiny boy no one wanted, grew up with so much love that now, his heart is the biggest thing about him. He did not get just one mommy. He got 2. And 2 hearts that were once broken became one big, beautiful, forever family. If this story made you cry happy tears and warmed your heart, please hit the like button right now, leave a heart or a tear emoji in the comments, and subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss another evergreen tale full of hope and love. Share this video with someone who needs to feel love today. I'll be here with the next story, waiting just for you. See you soon. Green Heart.